Well, hi, everybody. So we're in this pocket of time, this window where the eclipse is coming and it will arrive. So we start feeling its energy about 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So when we look at the calendar, February 17th, 2026, you can count out about 2 weeks after for the full potency, even though many of the astrologers are saying, it could be felt for the whole 6 months to even the year. This is a very powerful eclipse that is landing on the same day as the Lunar New Year, which is the year of the fire horse. So here I have an image from Alana Fairchild, this idea of Pegasus of the eclipse. Fantastic. So this red fire horse is meeting Pegasus and joining in this eclipse. Now, the information coming in is that the eclipse is not necessarily a time to manifest. Instead, it's a time to pay attention, to attune, to go within, and to really sit with what in me wants to still be shed as we say goodbye to the year of the wood snake. So, to get lighter and to meet this eclipse energy, again, we say, what needs to be let go of? Are there some unconscious patterns running in my background, my energy field that really needs to lighten up? And then I created this orb with Metatron's cube or a star Merkaba. And this is to remind me that if you want to help and be part of the navigational system as a collective of humanity, on September the 20th, we're going to see Saturn and Neptune get to the 0 degrees Aries point. It's the creator's point. It's a brand new beginning. So the word rebirth or transformation comes up. So what is the new you 2.0, but on a whole other level that wants to come through? It's this letting go. So when we greet the new moon and the powerful eclipse, it's looking at this idea of what dream of my future self do I want to activate and bring forward in the now moment? So, for those of you who are looking at the stars and the conjunctions and oppositions, let me share a little bit about what a galactic reading for February 17th, 2026 is offering. Now, I do have a playlist on this momentous time. You can catch it with my talk about the age of Pegasus. Pegasus has already been activated, but the potency of this eclipse and this new lunar year and the 0 degrees Aries point, there's probably other layers. The solar, it's an annular eclipse, which is a ring of fire. So yeah, it's go time. So, what are we saying yes to? And what dream of ourselves, you individually, not your loved ones, not your community, but you coming online? What's your next 2.0 or, the higher octave of you coming online? The word avatar comes up so much, and it's hard to grasp what that means. If I could say we're learning how to live in quantum, the quantum 3D merging together, your higher self. And so the playing with the stars is kind of a game to play, almost like let's just play, but there's truth in the play. So let me show you what I mean. So here is a beautiful comment coming from Alana Fairchild's card deck on Pegasus. Beloved Pegasus, who brings the enlightened wisdom, I call upon your guardianship to support me in allowing the natural spiritual rebirth taking place at this time. Even though I cannot always see clearly, I am still able to take one step after the other with patience and care, making meaningful progress on my life journey, bringing spiritual benefit to all beings. Wonderful. I call upon your guardianship to support me in allowing the natural spiritual rebirth taking place at this time, the natural spiritual rebirth. Even though I cannot always see clearly, I'm still able to take one step after the other with positive patience and care, making meaningful progress on my life journey, bringing spiritual benefit to all beings. Thank you, Pegasus of the eclipse. The eclipse is going to light the way. If you look back at my playlist on the age of Pegasus, you'll see me talking about a month or so ago about the potency of the time. Now, this star chart, this galactic wheel, because it's the astrology of the moment of 17th of February 2026, but including the stars. So, what we see here in my community is Lyra constellation, the star Alethar is going to be at the ascendant. This will change depending on where you live, but the most potent thing is for everybody, this part of fortune, the Arabic part of fortune, will be at 9 degrees Capricorn, 31 minutes. This is where all of us will find our blessings in Capricorn, mastery, with the Lyra constellation Alethar. For me, the summation of the blessing will come in if you decide to go within and work on your own vibrational attunement, whatever that might mean to you, humming, singing, finding any discordant energy and releasing it at this potent time. Call in the beautiful star Alethar and Lyra to optimize the blessing that's available in mastery, self mastery. This is not of the ego. This is more like, okay, let me see how to master more of myself, integrating with my quantum avatar self, my higher self. When we look at a new moon for celebrating the lunar new year, we see the 28 degrees Aquarius point of the sun and the moon together. You know, it's at 28 degrees, about 50 minutes or so. This is where they come together, they offer a portal of new beginning. All right. But the big auspicious thing with Saturn and Neptune now coming into 0 degrees of Aries, the true date is closer to the 20th, but you see by the 17th of February, the big star players of Saturn and Neptune with Pegasus down here in Shiat is the beautiful star of Pegasus. If you'll note in my playlist, I call this the new trinity. This is the creator's point, 0 degrees Aries. It's not just starting a cycle of the new astrological beginning point, but it's a calling for a new time clock to begin, a new wheel of monitoring time. And perhaps time will shift and become much more in a quantum, all things happening at once. We're not sure exactly how it's going to look or feel, but we're seeing the lineup. Saturn, the father of Neptune, who is the father of Pegasus. So we see the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost coming at the Creator's point very auspiciously, again, the 17th of February and the 20th of February. This is very big energy. And the story continues. The mother of Pegasus, Algol, is the head of Medusa, this beautiful star in Perseus constellation, working with Uranus, 27 degrees of Taurus, 32 minutes. And look how it's engaging with this moment of the 0 degrees Aries point, so sextiling the energy. It's like the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, but don't forget about the Mother. Remember Mother Mary? In the paradigm of the previous Piscean era, women were to be either saints or sinners, either Mother Mary or the harlot Magdalene. So, this idea of this connection coming in with Algol, Medusa, don't forget how Pegasus was born from the beheading of of Medusa, who at one point on the timeline was the most beautiful feminine human on earth. She was a Vestal virgin with for Athena, the Athena temple priestess. But as the story goes, when Neptune came as a wave and seduced her or raped her, this was the impregnation of, later to be born Pegasus. This is an archetypal human story playing out even today in 2026. It's almost like the old cast of characters are coming in and are reshaping themselves into a whole new storyline. Are we ready to let go of the women only as saint or sinner and come into more of a balance of our own divine masculine and divine feminine? I didn't want to leave this discussion without also commenting about Sirius, the brightest star in our heavens as we look at the heavens from Earth. Sirius, oftentimes looked at the star where the pharaohs upon death would ride their solar ark or boat and return to the heavens and the stars. This idea of return, of rebirth, is also shifting. So we see Jupiter was another name for Zeus, right? Working with Sirius. This expansion energy is playing a role as we look at this auspicious moment. I know this chart might be a lot of data for some of you who are new to reading galactic astrology charts. However, this gives more of the soul connections for this auspicious moment of February 17th. The focus for me is always on oppositions and conjunctions as the strongest markers for what wants to come forward, what story. So we see Alphard working in opposition to the sun in Aquarius. This is an ancient constellation of Hydra, the largest constellation in the heavens. So it's not by accident, but this idea of, in the Asian way of looking at upon physical death, they knew that the souls would not return to Sirius as the Egyptians thought, but would often go back to the snake and be, reborn through the snake. So entering into the snake again and being reborn. So Alphard is the bright star that shines in the darkest part of our heavens. So this idea of dark and light, small and large, these creation stories are coming back to be revisited. And we're being asked, how do you want to move forward, oh new human, as a singular, but also now as a collective? When we shift into quantum, we're no longer singular. So if you could think about this idea of, what if I embraced all of my lifetimes here on earth at their highest essence, the quintessence of everything I learned as a human being on earth? You could add in other lifetimes of earth, of Mother Earth. But if you play this game of, I want to engage all of me, all my earthly lifetimes throughout all the timelines, what would that feel like? Because if it's just you, there's nothing outside of you, but it's you being you and collecting all your stories. Perhaps this is the way to greet the moment of this powerful eclipse. You see that the moon is going to work with the royal star Regulus in the Leo constellation. It's opposite by 1 degree, 15 minutes. So the moon in opposition to the king star. This idea of, will you feel emotionally connected through your emotional intelligence? You know, the moon, the receptive feminine. What does it feel like to step into your sovereignty, Regulus? I was talking to my friend Linda Bird the other day. Many of you know her. She's the NCGR president and fabulous astrologer for the Stargate experience. Linda was saying that they're offering a Regulus award to a wonderful astrologer. And right away, I thought of the potency of this Easter of 2026 as being a marker for, wow, when the star Regulus aligns with the Sphinx in Egypt, you know, that hall of records will open that we haven't had access to. This is based on the information coming to us through Edgar Casey. Quite an auspicious time, right? And so, if we allow ourselves to tune into our heart wisdom and at some cellular level and soul level of spirit, we know that we signed up to be here to witness this shift of all ages. There truly is nothing to do. I'm just bringing forward some of the tea leaves that are coming across my awareness. But it does seem like we're knitting these remarkable alignments, and together they start forming a new story of the galactic consciousness and super consciousness that, oh, human, are you ready to step into the new? And what would that look and feel like? So not to be afraid, but to say, I invite and encourage my all of myself and all of my earthly lifetimes. And then working with the star Merkaba, calling in my star families to connect. I'll post a beautiful Stargate meditation on the community post where Pragit, through Pragit Alcazar, the channel, says this is a beautiful meditation to invite your star families to connect. Okay, stay hydrated, stay well rested, notice your body, attune to Mother Earth, see if you can spend some time out in nature. I'm just sharing with you what's on my short list. But there is a certain kind of excitement and with an equal dose of a little bit of anticipation and, oh, you know, it's time. And I don't necessarily know if it has to include a solar flare or a solar flash. That's an outside experience. But when I felt and tuned in to the Tibetan monks who've been walking 2,000 plus miles from Texas to Washington, D.C., a ray of light and hope has entered into the human collective. And that's what I'm sitting with. And that's what I'm attuning with. So in the darkest night, there is a ray of hope. Are you ready to attune to it? And Alathbar in Lyra is saying, we're here to help you go within if that is what you wish. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again soon on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now.